Hello and welcome to the second part of my video about the Next War Poland game by GMT Games. We are playing Suwalki Gap scenario and this is turn 2. In the turn 1 Russians managed to capture Suwalki, but they failed to control it because they failed to do clearing operation properly. Belarusians tried to capture Białystok, but they failed utterly and suffered heavy losses here, while on the north Russians gained nothing, same in the Augustów area, so situation is still not clear. Allies received some support, some reinforcements, but their forces are in generally weak, and they also lost two very strong American units that were destroyed while fighting for Suwałki. Here you can see losses of both sides. Russians lost one motorized infantry brigade and one reconnaissance brigade, while Allies lost one Polish mechanized brigade, one American airborne brigade and one American mechanized brigade. So, losses are heavy, and that's just the beginning of the battle. It is turn 2 of the all three turns. In the turn 2, Russian player has an initiative as well as in the turn 1. But there are some some changes. Most notable is a number of the air points. In the turn 1, Russian player had 4 air points, while Allied player had 2 air points. Now Russian player has 3 air points only. So he will have a little smaller air support than he had in the turn 1. We are starting with this turn normally. Not like before when we are starting in the initiative combat segment, but now we have to play all the phases according to the sequence of play. We are starting with weather phase. A weather phase is clear for all the turns. This is special scenario rule. Next, supply phase, I decided to skip supply rules for now, since they are optional. Next we have initiative air naval phase. We don't have to determine who has any air advantage, because it is in the scenario rules again, and according to the rules, we have to say that in the turn 2, non-allied player, it means Russian player, has an advantage. So Russians still have an air advantage. And they have an initiative as well. We don't have to roll for air superiority level then, none for sea control, because we don't have sea hexes here. Mine clearance as well, because we don't have sea mines. So that would be all. We are moving to the initiative movement and combat phase, since this is initiative turn because Russian player has an initiative. So let's move Russian units. I think I'll let these units here stay there to perform this clearing operation again. Maybe this time it will be much more effectively, or maybe I will change something. I have a mechanized brigade here that I don't really need now, so I can remove it, and I can move there this infantry unit, because it will help to successfully clearing this hex. So I'll move. Wait. We have a terrain effect chart that tells us how many movement points we should pay for each kind of terrain. We have clear woods here, flat woods, and we have a motorized unit. So for the flat woods we pay 2 movement points for each hex. So 2 and 3. Yes, 3. And from this hex I move this motorized unit to 4, 6. Because mechanized units pay 2 movement points for each hex of flatwoods. Next I'm gonna move these two tank brigades here. 1, 3, and now they are moving to the road. 4. And this tank brigade 2. So we have 4 stacking points here, so this is our limit, and they have to stay there, and they will perform an attack on Augustów, because Augustów is one of the key points for the victory in this scenario. Next, here, Olecko. I'm gonna make an attack here on Olecko as well, with these Russian units. Oh, maybe not like that. I'm gonna move them here, so they will defend Goldap and make sure that Poles here won't make any quick run and take Goldap back. That wouldn't be good for Russians, and President Putin wouldn't be happy as well. And next, South. Here we have a much more complicated situation, since Belarusian units suffered very heavy losses in their unsuccessful attack on Białystok. Each of these 4 brigades is already weakened, so using them is, well, somehow not a very good idea in combat. They will suffer more losses, and they don't get any successes while attacking this Białystok city, I guess. They may try to move here, but this is raw woods, and they are mechanized units, and mechanized units pay 4 movement points while moving on the raw woods. So I might move one of this group. 4, 5, 6, and now they are on the road. So they pay. This is secondary road, I think. No, sorry, this is primary road. This is primary road, and for the primary road they pay a half movement point per hex. So they move here, here, and here. Again, this unit. 4, 5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5. Well, this would and now this artillery unit, they have 6 movement points, so they spent 4 here. We have, oh no, they spent 3, I think, raw woods, and we have artillery marker here, so 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be all for them, and I will keep this group here just to guard this Białystok, and I think this is all when it comes to the Russian movement phase. Of course, initiative movement segment, sorry, and that's, yes, that would be all. We can now perform Russian attacks. So let's resolve this combat first. We have 2 Belarusian units, they have 4 strength, and Polish Airborne Brigade, which has a strength of 3. So let's take here, this should be fine. So Russians have 1-to-1 combat odds, and -1 because they have more strength than Poles. Next we have column shift because of the combat efficiency. Poles have 6 while Belarusians have 4. So we move 2 in favor of the defender. Next, defender is in the town, so we don't have to make a shift for the city, and that is also Sorry, I think I should count one more thing. Yes. If mechanized unit attacks on the hex, which is clear terrain, and there is no forest, no city, and no raw terrain, its strength is 1.5, is multiplied by 1.5. So we have 3 and 3. So we have 6 against 3. So this gives us 2 to 1. And that would be initial odds. Next we gain -2 column shift because of the combat efficiency difference. 1, 2. And no modifier because it was clear round, clear odd. Next we check die roll modifiers. So now first Belarusians are about to use the Belarusians are using their artillery as well. So I make a 1 column shift. And next Belarusians are using their combat helicopters. I have to make a roll for air advantage table. Russians have advantage, so flying side has advantage, and there are no armored units here, no enemy installations here, so no die roll modifiers. 7, it's good. They gain -1 because of the combat helicopters. And next about Russian AO points. Russians has only 3 AO points in these scenarios. Sorry, in this turn. So I'm gonna keep them for the most important combat, I think. So that would be all when it comes to the Russian AO support. Now the defender. Defender has 2 combat helicopters here, but I don't think I will use them. I think I will keep them for the again most important battles. So now let's check for the other modifiers. Yes, there will be some. First, defender is in the town, so we gain +1, so it's 0 again. And light infantry defending in the non-flat wood city terrain. We have flat terrain, so no, this doesn't count. Russians have 1 formation, so that would be all. I'm gonna make a roll, and I rolled 5 without any modifiers. So we have 5. Oh my, 1, 2. So attacker loses 1 step, so 1 Belarusian brigade is eliminated, but defender loses 2 steps. So Polish brigade is also eliminated. And thanks to that, Belarusians are able to capture this town. We don't have to perform clearing operations for towns. Yes. Only for cities and urban hexes. So this there is no problem here with capturing this town. And now situation, I think, is getting quite worse for allies, because this Grajewo town seems to be, well, quite important junction here. And now this Belarusian unit has still a size of 2, so they control this junction as well. Well, we'll see. Next attack is performed here. We have 5, 8, 10. 10 against 3. 10 against 3 is 2 to 1. Combat odds. And since it is not a perfect odds, we have +1 this time for the defender. I think it works like this. No, it works only for the attacker. So no. So we have 1.5 to 1, and now and now we have -1 modifier. Next we have strength. Defender is in the town, so we have no modifiers for armored and mechanized units. So we have to check their efficiency. French paratroopers have 6, and German and Russian tanks have also 6. So no column shift for the combat efficiency difference. Next, defender is in the town. Sorry, in the city. So we move 2 column shifts in the favor of the defender. And next we have air support. Russians decide to use one of their combat helicopters, which is here. I make a roll. It is 4, so they passed. They have -2 now. And allies are about to use Polish helicopters. These are here. 9, it is great. So Polish helicopters are in use. And Russian modifiers are reduced to 1. None of the sides decides to use air points in this combat, so we are moving to the other diral modifiers. Russians have artillery here, but they decide they will use it here, so no artillery support. And now we're gonna use it here. We're gonna check for other modifiers. We have 1, 2 formations here. So we get another +1, and that would be all. That would be all. I make a roll. Oh my, 1. This is a good roll for Russians. Again, wow. Again, 1, 2. So Russian brigade suffers 1 loss. And Allied brigade suffers 2 losses, so it is eliminated. And Russians are entering Augustów. So I have to give them clearing counter. I have to draw 1 and place it. That was very good combat for Russians. Despite some losses, they managed to capture one of the most important cities in this part. So we have one more battle here. 3, 6 against 2, 5. This is 1 to 1 with -1 for Russians. It is clear terrain, so we're gonna place it here. And next we check for combat efficiency difference. I'm gonna use this Italian paratroopers as the leading unit, and this motorized infantry as leading unit. So they have 6 against 6. We have no column shift, but Russians have 1 column shift for artillery, and Allies have 2 column shift for defending in the town. Sorry, in the city. Okay. Next, we're gonna check our air support. Russians are using 1 combat helicopters counter. Let's make a roll. I rolled 4, so they passed. They gain -1. Allies are using their combat helicopters. 2. My God, this can be hard because there is mechanized unit here, so it turns to 1, and 1 when the firing side has air superiority means has air advantage, means not only aborted, but there is a star, so Allies are losing these combat helicopters. It already suffered 1 loss, so it suffers 2nd loss, and it is eliminated. That wasn't good. So what about air points? I think Russians would use one of their air points. 0. They are losing this? I think yes. Yes. It is not working. So allies maybe use their air point as well. 8. It works. So Russians have only -1 diver modifier here. And now for the other modifiers. We have Russian units are of the 1 formation, so we don't get +1 because of that. They are attacking from the 2 hexes, so no modifier for attacking from more hexes. That will be all. So let's make a roll. Wow, 0, and we have -1. This means this gives us -1 result, so allies are losing 1 step. Have to say that this combat phase went very good for Russians. Okay, and that would be all when it comes to the Russian combat phase. Of course, initiative combat segment. So, next one is Elite Reaction Movement segment. In this segment I can move all allied units that have combat efficiency of 6 or higher. So, this 25 Air Cavalry Brigade is in Oak, and it should stay here since Oak is one of the victory points in this game. The others are Olecko, Suwałki, Augustów and Białystok. So keeping Oak is very important, so I will let them be. And I can't move this brigade because it's combat efficiency of 4. Both of these as well. So, and now here, oh yes, this Recon Regiment is still kinda tempting me to take it somewhere where it can be used, but as for now I'm gonna let it stay here. So no elite reaction in this segment. Next we have Exploitation Movement segment, so I can move Russians and Belarusians. I think they have a lot of job clearing these two cities here. So some of my units are literally grounded because they can stay on these hexes till these hexes will be cleared, or they can leave it, but then the clearing counter will be removed and the city will not be controlled by Russians. So it's not an option for me. And no, I have to let them. So I think I will not move Russians now because I have nothing to do. So next we have Exploitation Combat segment. I can attack, but in this segment when I attack I get additional -2 column shift. So attacking now is a good option only if you have some devastating advantage against the enemy. When you have such power, you can shatter enemy even with this 2 columns shift. But when you have some equal forces as enemy, then attacking in this segment would be not quite a good idea, just like here. I have 6, 3 and 3 against 4, which would be 1.5 to 1, and they are in the town, they are in the city, so that wouldn't be a very good idea, so I'm not gonna do it. And next we have Reaction Movement segment. In this segment I might move my allied units, but do I have to? That's a good question. I think I have an idea. I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but this might be. Okay. 1, 2, and 1, 2. And I'm gonna use these 2 brigades to attack this brigade. This is risky thing, I know, but well, I might try it. So maybe I will maybe Russians will suffer some losses or will be forced to go back from this hex, since it is quite important to keep Olecko. And if they will be forced to retreat here, they wouldn't be able to attack from this hex, since there is a lake on the border of these hexes, and you can't attack through the lake. So let's see if it will work or not. This is a risky attack, but sometimes you have to be a bit hazardous. Okay, now first we have to check strength. Here we have 2 and here we have 3. We are attacking in the clear terrain, but we are attacking with mechanized and armored units. This unit is armored and it attacks in the clear terrain. There is no town, no city, no other terrain, so its strength is doubled. So they have 6. And this mechanized unit also attacks in the clear terrain, so its strength is 1.5. So it has 3. So I have 6 and 3, it's 9 against 4. 9 against 4 gives me 2-to-1 odds, and -1 because it is not clear odds. So I have next I'm gonna check my efficiency rating. I'm gonna use this one as a leading unit. It is 4. The Russian unit has 5, so I get -1 shift. Okay, I think that's all when it comes to the shifts. Next I have to check my die roll modifiers. I'm gonna use Polish helicopters to see if I can do this. I'm gonna make a roll. 1, nope, nope, nope. I have 0 because there is mechanized unit, so I have -1, and this means that Polish unit is not able to support their forces, but also suffers 1 loss. That wasn't good. And next I'm gonna use 1 air points of Nato. God damn it. Again, nothing. I lost this air point and I can't support my forces. So Russians gonna use their helicopters here. 9, wow, that was lucky. Okay, so they're not gonna use their air points. And we have die roll modifiers 0 for now, and I don't think we have any combat modifiers in this battle. No, we don't have. You may ask why I didn't use this for these units. Well, I'm gonna let them be here and keep them in case Russians would attack this city, because this city is one of the keys of my defense. So I'm not gonna risk losing any of these units. Okay. So we have 1.5 to 1 with 0 modifiers. Wow, 8, that's bad. It is -1 loss for attacker. So Polish player loses this brigade. No, that was bad. That was very bad. And that's all when it comes to the reaction combat segment. We are moving to the basic movement and combat phase. We are starting with Russians and what they can do. What they can do. I might try to counterattack here or attack this city. I think I will try to counterattack here. Why to not attack this city? Because I hope I will be able to clear Suwalki in this turn, and I will be able to use these forces to commence my attack on Olecko in the next final turn, and I hope I will be strong enough to force these NATO units from Olecko. Or maybe even I will be able to use some of my forces from Augustów if they will manage to clear this town as well. So let's commence this battle here, since I don't have any Russian units to move. For now they are good when they are. I have mechanized units, so its strength is 1.5. So it has 3 plus 1.5, it's 4.5, so it has 4 against 2. It gives us 2 to 1. In the clear terrain. And Russian combat efficiency is 5 against Polish combat efficiency of 4. So we have another +1. And when it comes to the air support, well, Polish player decides to use his last one air point. 6. This is good, I think. No. We have mechanized force here, so it is -1, so it is 5. And 5 in the when the firing side has advantage is I was wrong. It is alright. So Polish player is able to use these combat helicopters. A Russian player decides to use his other combat helicopters as well. 6. He made it. So the diagonal modifier is 0. And Russian player decides to use 2 of his remaining air points. 1, 2. Okay, and make a roll. 9, wow, that was good. So -2. And that's all when it comes to the air forces. And the other, we don't have any other diagonal modifiers. So, oh, sorry, I forgot about one thing. I can use this artillery to gain another shift. I shouldn't do this, but I mean, this is against the rules, because when you declare that you don't use any other units that provide you combat shift, you can't use them anymore in this combat. But well, let's forget about it for now and let's use it. I'm gonna make a roll. 9. Wow, 9 -2 is 7. It is -1 against and -2. So Polish unit is eliminated because it loses 2 steps. Russian unit loses 1 step. But I don't have to. You may ask why. I'm gonna show you. This is a red result, and if you have result in red, and if defender can't satisfy in a red text columns, reduce attacker losses by 1. So I'm gonna explain this. Polish unit has to lost 2 steps. It has only 1 step now. It can't lose 2 steps because it may lose only 1 step and be eliminated. So thanks to that, an attacker doesn't have to suffer his step loss. So Russian unit is safe and it may enter hex where enemy unit was eliminated. That was good for Russians. They didn't have much luck in the first turn, in the first battles, but now they are running quite good, and I think they might win this scenario with ease. We will see. That was all when it comes to the Russian combat segment, and now we have Polish movement segment, and the situation is not very good for NATO, you may guess. Now, what I can do with my NATO forces? Not much, actually. I might withdraw this brigade here to Ełk to keep this city, well, kinda defended, but I don't have any units that I can use to react on the enemy actions, and this is bad. Okay, that would be all when it comes to the NATO movement segment, and next we have NATO combat segment, and I don't think I will perform any attacks with NATO forces. No, I don't think I will. So that would be all when it comes to the NATO combat segment, and we are moving to the reorganization phase. We are starting with rotating all the helicopters and artillery units. on the active side, so they will be players will be able to use them in the next turns. Next we have reset air points and air mobile points. These are all now done because both players used their entire air points. Reset air mobile points, done. Remove tunnel markers, this is for next war Korea only. And finally conduct clearing operations, and that's what we're gonna do now. We have two places where we should conduct clearing operations. We are starting with Suwalki, where Russians had a bad luck last times. There is 6. And let's move to our clearing operations table. So again, we need 3 points, but we have 4 here. So we satisfy minimum stacking points. Clearing in Lithuania and Estonia, no. Clearing flag at land area, no. Additional installation, no. Clearing from amphibious assault, no. Paratroop or using air mobile movement, no. Stack includes leg and armor or mechanized, yes. This unit is leg, and we have also armor and armor unit here. So we have +1. Difference between efficiency rating and clearing number. I'm gonna use this unit. It has 5 against 6, so we get -1, so we have 0. And difference between stacking points and minimum safe stacking points. It has no problem. It needs 3. I have 4, so it's okay. So I have roll 6 or more. I rolled 7. That's good. That's good. Russians managed to control Suwalki and to wipe out any Polish resistance here. So I'm gonna place control marker. And the next clearing operations is in Augustów. It has 4, and again it is city, and it needs 3 stacking points. I have 1, 2, 4. That's enough. Now stack includes leg and armor? No. We have armor and mechanized forces here. So we don't have any leg units here. Difference between efficiency rating and clearing number. I'm gonna use, let's say, this armored brigade. It has 5 and it has 4, so I have -1. And the difference between stacking unit stacking and minimum safe stacking, it is okay. I have 1, 2, 4, and I need just 3. So I have +1, 4. It's okay because of my +1 modifier. So Augustów is controlled by Russians as well. This turn was very good for Russians. They managed to capture Augustów and Suwalki. The Poles suffered some heavy losses in this turn, so I think Russians have quite an open way to complete victory in this turn, but they have to capture Olecko and Ełk in the next turn, and it will be harder. You will soon see why. And next we have reinforcement and replacement phase. Now we can enter reinforcements. This is quite important because NATO gains quite a number of reinforcements. First, this Polish recon unit. It may enter the game from the western edge of the board, and for this scenario, western edge is marked with the hex row of 40. So I'm gonna make it enter here. And these 3 units might enter in air mobile movement. So this means they can't enter hexes within the enemy zones of control. So where can I place them? I think I will place this American brigade here. This one will enter this hex, and this one would land here. Oh no, it can't, because we have already 4 stacking points here, so I can't land here. That's bad. So maybe here. Okay, and now we get replacement points. US player gains +1. Maybe I should move camera a bit. US player gains +1. Polish player gains +1. NATO gains 1. Belarus gains 1. And Russia gains 2. And now these points can be used to, well, replacement or reconstruction of the lost units. So, what NATO can do? I think I would like to replace this unit. Step recovery. This unit. It is mechanized brigade, so it requires 2 points to gain 1 lost step. So I spent 2 of my points, and it is returned to normal. Now NATO can't use any of their points. Why? Because the only NATO unit that might recover is this, and this is in the enemy zone of control, so it can't be repaired. And now for Russians have 2 points, or maybe first Belarusians. Belarusians have 2 points, so they are gonna repair this brigade. And Russia also has 2 points, and it is gonna use to repair this brigade. Okay, that would be all when it comes to the... Oh, I forgot to make this artillery be able to be fired in the next turn. So that would be all when it comes to replacement and reinforcement phase. And this concludes second turn of the game. I think its situation changed drastically in the favor of Russians, so I hope I will be able to at last get a draw with Polish keeping Olecko and Ełk, but it will be hard. If Russians would control one of these towns, sorry, cities, they will win. If not, NATO might win, because it still controls Białystok, Ełk and Olecko, while Russians are controlling Suwałki and Augustów only. So they have to capture 1 city to win. So the final third turn will be decisive. Thank you for watching.